welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Rye, and this is Rye's Reading Corner. Today, I am bringing you my TBR for the Trope-ical Readathon. So the Trope-ical Readathon is hosted by two amazing people. We have Jen at Jen Reviews and Rob at Book Rob 13. So this readathon takes place from August 1st to August 31st, and it's based off the tropes that we see in literature. So there are several groups that you could have picked to kind of fit your interest. So there was the romance group, there is the horror mystery thriller group, there is the sci-fi fantasy group, there's the contemporary literature and historical fiction group, which is like combined into one, and there's nonfiction and poetry. So I was down to between science fiction and fantasy, as well as mystery, thriller, and horror, but I decided to go to team mystery, thriller, and horror. So if you're participating in this readathon, post which group you are in for this readathon. Also, there is going to be reading sprints that are going on, side note, and I'm hosting some of those readathons sprints, so I'm super excited. So check out my Instagram to see when I will be hosting those readathon sprints. So for this readathon, there are 13 common prompts that everybody needs to complete, and you earn points towards your team winning. Then each group has their own prompts based off tropes that you see more in that specific type of genre. And then there is also a group read as well. And all of these will earn points in hopes that your team will win. So I'm going to start off with the common challenges first, which are tropes that you kind of see throughout a variety of different genres. There are two tracks you can go. One of them is the trope, and then one of them is a more general kind of prompt that is, you can relate back to that trope that is kind of spin off of that, but kind of gives you an alternate in case you can't find a book that fits that trope, which I really liked that option. So the first trope that we are tackling is absent or dead parent trope, or a book with multiple authors. So I chose the path of the dead or abandoned parents, and I will be reading Girls in Pieces by Kailyn Glasson. There's the lovely Target sticker, so I can't see the last part of it. I don't know too much about this. All I know is that it is a, I believe it's a YA book, and our main character is Charlotte, and she has fallen to pieces. She is 17 years old. Her best friend is gone. Her mother has nothing to give to her. It sounds like she's been abandoned by a lot of the people in her life, and she's trying to pick the pieces up together. So it's definitely a hard-hitting book. I've heard a lot of good things about it, though, from other booktubers, but I'm excited to read this one. It's should be a quick read since I do enjoy reading YA contemporary type books. So that is book number 1. All right, so the second common challenge is strange names or a book that starts with the first letter of your name. So this challenge I thought was kind of hard because I didn't want to pick a book and what deems a strange name. I mean, everybody's names are different in each culture. So for example, you know, Michael, which is a common name in the United States, might seem really different in a different country. So I really want to be careful with this. So I kind of took the route of fantasy, where the names are kind of a little bit different and it's not specific to like an actual culture. So I'll be reading, which I'm really excited about. I'll be reading The House. Sorry, my notebook fell. I'll be reading The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klein. So I know this is a fantasy book about like a caseworker that is called to a specific school to deal with dangerous children, mystical, magical children. So for the names that caught my eye was Linus, which I know that's like a stretch. And then one is like Miss Chapel White and Mr. Paranesis. I don't know. I know it's a really kind of a stretch, and one of them's like Calliope. So I'm sure there's other books that have stranger names. I'm sure there's gonna be strange names in this one if they're dealing with like fantasy and monsters. But those were kind of that caught my eye, and I've been wanting to read this book. It is more of a chunkier book, but I think it will be a quick and a fast read. So I'm super excited to be reading this book for that prompt. The third common prompt is to read a book that has a pandemic in it or part of a series. So the book I actually picked fits both, and it's actually a reread for me. So I'm going to be reading The Darkest Minds by Alexander Bracken. This is a series. It's the first one in the series. I read this book, I want to say maybe last summer, and I absolutely loved it. I think I gave it 5 stars, but I don't know why I didn't follow up with reading the second book right after, but I didn't, and I picked up the second book like after Christmas, and I had trouble getting into it because I feel like I didn't really remember what this book was about because I read a lot of books last summer. So I want to reread this and then kind of jump right into the sequel of this book, either this month or next month. So I'm hoping to fall in love with this book again because I really did like it the first time, and I really, really want to love Never Fade, which is the sequel. So I'll be reading this one, and it does have a pandemic in it. There's a thing that comes over, and it either kills the children or that gives them like special powers of their resilience to it, and there's like a wide range of powers that they get, and they like get categorized and like shipped away to like this other isolated like camp almost. So it is really a good book, and I believe it is a movie, which I've never seen. So I'm excited to be diving into this book again. Okay, so the fourth common prompt is forbidden romance or a banned book.
Hi, this is Editing Rye, and I was going through footage and I realized I did not like the book I picked for the prompt for forbidden romance. So I put myself in here to tell you that I have picked a new book, and it's called Stepbrothers by Penelope something. I put the picture here. I don't know anything about this book besides that it's a romance, I think, between a stepbrother and a stepsister. Don't know much more about it. I don't even know if that's right. But I know that it is definitely 100% a forbidden romance. Definitely something I would not normally read, but we're going to give it a try. So, and it has a pretty good average rating on Goodreads. So I wanted to put this here, and let's go back to the past, right?
Next prompt for the comment is a dystopia book or a book that's over 500 pages. So I went with the dystopia path for this one, and I'll be reading The Garcia by Kim Liggett. So I actually started this, I'm only on like page 16 prior to making my TBR for this, but I stopped because I knew I wanted to use this book for it. So I don't know too much about it because I really was in the beginning of it, but I know that it's about a society where at 16 you go into like this, it's a certain year, and you're like have to be pretty much picked by a certain male at this time, and they're supposed to have like this power over the men, and then they have to take this time off where like they lose that power. I don't know, it's really weird, but I know it's like a play on like feminism and like different things with like politics, I believe. I only know is that I've heard a lot of people really like it, especially the people that I have similar interest in the same books. So I'll be excited to read this one. I think it'll be a fast read because it is a YA novel. So the next book or prompt is a blast from the past or a book from a different generation. So this could be a book about a character that meets someone that they had known from before. And so I'm going to be reading The Hana Wars by Adiba Judd. I'm sorry, I butchered that name. But I picked this book because when I was reading it on Goodreads, it says that she comes in touch again with a childhood friend that had been gone away for a while, and they come back. So that I felt like fit the prompt of a blast from the past. I know that I believe this is a female-female relationship, which I'm here for. So I'm really excited to read The Hana Wars. I love the cover, and I've heard, again, a lot of great things about this book. The next prompt is a book with multiple media type things in the book or an audiobook. So I'm going the path of a mixed media, and I'm going to read Broken Throne by Victoria Ayard. It does have, it's a collection spin-off of the Red Queen collection, or Red Queen series. So it has some like short stories that go along with that series, but it also has like journal entries. It has like a family tree, which is like literally the most gorgeous thing ever. It has like a like screen type play of like a conversation that people had. It's really, really cool. So I'm really excited to read this one. I feel like it'll be a quick read because it is read in different type of media forms, but I'm super excited. All right, so the next book is a book that has artificial intelligence or an ebook. So I'm going for an artificial intelligence with this, starting a series I've been really dying to start that I hear so many good things about, and that is Illuminae by Amy Kaufman. I cannot believe I'm just getting to this book. I might be going crazy with adding this with 15 books on this TBR, and I do have other books I need to read this month, but everyone says this is such a quick read by the format it is. So I originally was going to have this for my multimedia format, but I wanted to fit the other one in, so I kind of moved this in once I saw that they also had listed this on their book recs for artificial intelligence. So I honestly know nothing about it. I'm just really excited to read it because everyone says that this is a series that you need to read. So the next trope that we need to cover is Amnesia, or you could do a book that you forgot was on your TBR. So I tried looking for books about amnesia, but I just really couldn't find any, and honestly, I hate amnesia tropes. So I went with a book that I forgot was on my TBR, and I am going to read The Silent Patient by Alex Mccadley. I can't believe I haven't read this so far. I don't know why I haven't. I love thrillers, and this one was a very popular one. I feel like it has mixed reviews. I feel like either people really love this book or they absolutely hated this book. But I am really excited to read it. I think it's going to be an interesting read. It's about a woman that I believe kills her husband very brutally, and then now she's in a psych ward and she hasn't talked since that. So this is like the aftermath, but I don't know if it goes like back and forth between like what happened before or during the murder. I honestly don't know, but I am really excited. My poor copy's really banged up, but I will be finally getting to this book. Next book is an enemies or friends to lover trope, or you could take the path book that you have DNF'd in the past. So I'm going to be tackling War of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. So from what I've read on the back, it sounds like they definitely weren't like all lovers to begin with, that there was some maybe hate to love in the beginning. I could totally be wrong, but that's like what I'm getting from reading the back of this and reading from Goodreads, because honestly I don't know anything about this book. I just know that everybody loves Sarah J. Maas and I want to dabble in it, and I will be doing a special video on this book, so take a look out during VEDA, which we're starting today, which I'm participating in, that I will have a video based off this book. But it does, like I said, kind of sound like a or enemies to lovers type thing. I don't know, but I fit the prompt in this one, but I'm really excited to read this. Next prompts are chosen one, which is the trope prompt, or a book recommendation from a friend. So I am going the path of picking a book by a friend, and this book was actually gifted to me, so I'm counting as a recommendation from Michelle Reads YA. Michelle is awesome. I'll link her channel below. But With the Fire on High, I'm going to be reading by Elizabeth Acevedo. I've read both of her other books, so this is the last one I need to read by her, and I absolutely love her writing, so I'm super excited for this one. I don't know too much. I do know that our main girl, Imani, is a single mother, had her child at a really young age, and she's found her passion through cooking. I don't know anything more than that, but I'm okay with that. But Elizabeth Acevedo's writing, I go through really fast. This is an actual novel, not written in prose, so I'm excited to see how her writing is similar or different to her other books that were written in verse. So I'm excited to read this one. The next prompt is The New Kid in Town, or pick a book from a genre that you don't typically read. So I'm going to be reading The Whisper Man by Alex North, and I'm going to be reading this for a prompt, for the trope prompt, so for a new person in town. This was also a gift from Taryn, so thank you, Taryn, for that. So and I don't really know much about this. All I know is that they moved to Featherbank, and I know it has like a dark past about a serial killer abducting victims out of their window and he was labeled as the Whisper Man. I am really creeped out by like things like that, so I am excited to read this one. I like going in my thrillers not knowing anything, so I try to avoid any Goodreads reviews on thrillers, so I haven't really looked at any, but I am excited to read him because I am going to be reading his other book as a group read with some other awesome people, so I'll be reading 2 of Alex North's books this month. Next prompt is either a retelling, which is like the trope prompt, or you could do one that has been adapted to a movie or a TV show. So I'm going to go over the retelling prompt, which this is like one of the first retellings I think I've really read. And I'm going to be reading Cinderella is Dead by Kailyn Barron. So I'm super excited to read this book. This was actually the group read for the science fiction fantasy group, which was kind of why I was considering that group, but I was able to fit it in for one of my prompts. So this is a Cinderella retelling. It's 200 years after like the Cinderella story that we know, and she is, and now in their society, girls have to go to the ball where they're supposed to find a man, and if they don't find a man there, they just like disappear. But our main character would rather be with her best friend, who is a female. So it's a sapphic book, which I am here for. I've heard some mixed reviews. Again, I think people either love this book or don't like this book, so I'm excited to make my own opinions about this and read this book this month. Okay, so those are all the common prompts for everybody that everyone's going to be doing. So the next 3 books are the books that I will be doing that are specific to my actual group, which again is the thriller, mystery, horror group. So the first prompt for this one is book with a character that is hiding a big secret. So for this one, I'm going to be reading Southern Books Club Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. So I'm super excited for this book. I love the cover. So this is about a small town where our female character feels kind of stuck in certain things, but she finds comfort in her book group that she has with all of her neighbors and friends. But there is this new guy that comes into town that kind of catches everybody's eye. But boys and kids and girls, and I don't think it's just boys, I think it's just people in general, start going missing. And she thinks that this new guy in town is not like the Brad Pitt I believe they compared him to, but he's more of like a Bundy type guy. So he's definitely obviously hiding a secret, because I'm assuming he's the vampire, but I could be wrong. So yeah, definitely he has a big secret. So I'll be reading this one. I'm super excited. It is a longer book. It's 404 pages. I don't know what I was thinking about getting all these big books, but these are books I've been really wanting to read, so I'm hoping that will make all these books reading a little bit easier. So that's that one. All right, so the final prompt besides our group book is the trope of a disappearance. So read a book that has something to do with people disappearing. So I forgot that I did have this one. I'm going to be reading The Shadows by Alex North too. So this one, again, I don't know much about it, but I know that in this town there were some weird things that are happening, and there was a case, and I don't know much more about that. But I know there's something about disappearing in this book. So this is the book I'm going to read. And this is also a group book that I'm reading, like I said earlier. It's not that long, which is really good. And I've heard, again, mixed things about this, but I am excited to read this one. So the final book I'm going to be reading is the group read, which I'm really, really excited about. And it's called Mexican Gothic by Silvio, Moreno, Garcia. I feel like everybody's talking about this book right now. I believe it has some type of like haunted house vibes. But again, I like going into these type of books in pretty blind, so I really don't know anything about it, but it's a book that I've been really wanting to read, and as soon as I got it last month, I wanted to read it, but I held off because I knew that this was a book that prompt for this group, so I waited, and now I'm really excited to read this. So I have a pretty big TBR for this one. It's a total of 15 books, but I believe you can also do extra books to get extra points, but I don't know if I'll get to that because I have a lot of other things going on this month. So if you are participating in the readathon, let me know below. Let me know which group you are in. Again, watch out for when I'm doing my reading sprints. My first one, I believe, is Sunday from 9 to 11, and then on Tuesday from 9 to 11 as well. And then I'll be doing the rest of the month as well at different times. So if you're new to this channel and you want to take this journey with me, please subscribe. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you ever don't want to miss any content, make sure you press that alert button. And yeah, all my social media below if you want to be friends and anything, and to not miss my my reading sprints, so check out my social media down there. And that's all I have, so stay kind, loves, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Feel so special, pretty up from the minute that I met you.